Welcome back to this rainy day episode of the Antisocial Socialite. Alright, you guys know that we're all super sick about hearing about COVID-19, and as we're approaching the end of 2020, which means this shit has been around for a year, if we can believe that, I just have a few words for Rona. You can't sit with us. Brought to you by Tiny Hands. Yeah, we have a Golden Girls, Mean Girls moment going on in my sweatshirt. I figured because it's rainy, why not wear a sweatshirt and hang out with you guys? But we just love girls. And just the other day we had celebrated International Day of the Girl. So if you guys didn't know, because there's so many holidays that are popping up lately, right? Like it was National Son's Day, National Daughter's Day, there's National Donut Day, it was just National Taco Day, National Clean Your Closet Day, whatever. But International Day of the Girl is super important, and if you guys didn't know that this was a thing, it's still not too late to celebrate and tell the ladies in your life how much you truly appreciate them. So, with that being said, I want to thank some of my girls in my life. Blanche, Rose, Sophia, Dorothy, and Katie Heron. I love all of you guys so much.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant.
You guys are wondering why I'm like low-key kind of whispering. It's because my roommates didn't straighten my hair well enough. If you guys are wondering why I'm like low-key kind of quiet, it's because my roommates are actually working from home right now, so I don't want to disturb them. But yes, Rona, let's talk about her for a little bit. Sick of her. We're all sick of her. We've been locked in the goddamn house for like 3/4 of this year, and I just want to go and hang out with my friends and do normal things. We all do. But we have to wait a little bit longer. I don't know how much longer though. The mask is getting better. Do you guys see that? I just want to let you know that. It's just super goddamn annoying. So, middle finger. Tiny hand, middle finger. Me. Fuck you, Rona. But you know what? COVID honestly to me is like an ex that's like a stalker and won't go away, because they keep like creeping up in your life when you least expect it, right? Trey Songz, Cam Newton, and Cristiano Ronaldo are actually the latest celebrities that have admitted and tested positive for COVID-19. So just know that even if you're rich and famous, you're still not immune to this shit. But in addition to people continuing to be victims of this deadly virus, we also have lots of businesses that are still going out of business. Business is going out of business, yeah, right? The historical Roosevelt Hotel in New York City and the famous and historic Lord & Taylor department store have announced that they're actually both shuttering, with more than 100 years in business, each of them. I can't talk today, whatever. Blame it on the rain. At least if I can't speak, I'll at least try to look pretty. And H&M is actually closing over 250 locations, which is so wild. Hopefully I'm not going to dedicate too much more time. The rest of this year's episodes that I have in store for you, talking about this Rona bitch. I just want the election to be over. I want Rona to be over. I just want to like live life and have fun. But whatever. Anyway, I'm like mad depressed right now about, why can't I bring you guys some fun? But anyway, enough about Rona, enough about my masked knee I showed you guys. Can I talk about something else that's like mad depressing? I've actually like started breaking out in eczema. Can you see that? Can you see that? For like the last month, and I don't know why. Look, I look like I have bags under my eyes. Can you see that though? Like literally. What is wrong with me, honestly? So I'm like depressed about that, and I don't like eczema. I only get it like on my elbows, but now I have it on my face and I don't like it. So if you guys have any ideas on how to get rid of it without like making myself blind, I would greatly appreciate that. But anyway, I'm gonna hit you with my commercial break, and then you guys get to witness my interview with Daija ME. I gave you a sneak preview in last week's episode towards the end, but she is going to be a household name just a few years. Like, honestly, quote me on that, okay? She's phenomenal. She's actually a radio host, or soon to be radio host, on iHeartRadio. I'm manifesting that for her because she used to be a radio host, but now she's doing all of the back of house work. I don't know, well, on switchboard and stuff. What is it called? I don't know the technology or terminology. All right, so without further ado, let me introduce you, after my commercial break, to Daija ME. She is a Philly-based radio personality. She actually used to work in both of her colleges on the radio stations there, and she's actually now part of iHeartRadio. I think this girl has an amazing voice, made for radio, but she's also pretty easy on the eyes too. I think Daija is beautiful. So definitely check out my interview with her. Love her, appreciate her. She is my Legendary Media Group's sister, and I was so happy to actually have the opportunity to bring her on here. So without further ado, I'm going to hit you with this commercial break, and then you get to enjoy my interview with Daija. Okay, see you guys in a bit. This week's commercial break, I'm shouting out and supporting another Legendary Media Group sister by the name of Mello. Mello, also like Daija, is a radio star, and she also has her own company called Pain Free Solutions, which helps with focusing on credit repair and financial consulting. So back when I was getting my car in January, I came across some major issues on my credit report that I didn't even know existed. Shout out to the finance guy for helping me out with that. He's not supposed to, but whatever. Anyway, so Mello helped me dispute these 3 issues that I had, and with her help and guidance, not only was I able to get them resolved, but my credit score jumped 84 points. So I am in the very good category of having amazing credit, guys. So Mello, thank you so much. And make sure that you guys go and check her out and support her small yet amazing business. Thanks again, Mello. But let's get started. So Daija, you're based out of Philly, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. So born and raised.
Yep. So I'm like in a little small town right outside of Philly, and born and raised here.
And you're a Temple alum, so your roots are pretty deep in that area, for sure.
Yeah, I want to expand and go elsewhere, but I don't know when.
You'll figure it out. You got time. Well, you just graduated, right? So huge step, huge achievement in that, especially in the midst of the pandemic. But you didn't let it stop you. You graduated, you're working on the radio, you're going hard with your own brand. So I want to talk a little bit about it. But first and foremost, you went to Temple. Is that where you got started on the radio, or was it before? I want to know how you got started.
So no, it didn't start at Temple. I did like the whole out of high school thing. I did community first, and then I did 2 years at Temple. So I did 2 years community, 2 years at the university. And at the community college is where I started. So it was called Monco Radio. And my senior year, how I even got it's so weird. Like my senior year of high school, I had a blog. I created a blog my junior year of high school. My senior year, I wanted to do a talk show for the blog. And my blog at the time was called Imperfectly Beautiful. So I was like, I'll call it Imperfect Talk Show. But I never recorded anything in high school. Like I brought a camera, like did like little test videos, never did anything with it. And it was just going to be like a talk show, like a face-to-face, like, like a Wendy Williams type vibe is what I was going for. And I never did anything with it. I graduated high school. I took those little few months off from going to school because I didn't want to go to college. I was like, I know what I want to do. I want to do media. I don't really need to go to school for that. So I didn't want to go. So then when do you graduate? You graduate around like May, June. I think I graduated like June. And then January, I went to community college, and I was like, oh, I could just join the radio club. How that even came about was crazy. I was just sitting in a chair, and these guys walked up to me and they were like, do you want to join a Monco Radio? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. Like, okay, cool. And I was like, what am I going to call my show at Monco? What am I going to call it? And I'm like, oh wait, I I have Imperfect Talk Show because I was going to use it for my blog and I never did anything with it. So let me use that for the name. And I just stuck with it. So I was there. I did that for the 2 years and I've been in love with it ever since.
That's so awesome. And you did radio. Did you continue that over when you transferred to Temple?
Yeah, so I did radio at Monco, and then when I went to go look into Temple, I know they had, and I was actually talking to DJ Damage because he went to Temple, and he was like, you need to try to go to Temple, and you need to try to get on WHIP, and I was like, oh yeah, I do want to go to Temple, whatever. So their radio station is called WHIP. So when I went to go for my like first day orientation at Temple, that was like the first thing I looked for, like whose information do I need to send my stuff to so people can know, like, this is with me, I'm here, this is what I'm trying to do. And as soon as I sent them my air check, they were like, oh my God, we don't have anything like that on our station. Like, yeah, we want you here. So I pretty much started Temple at the radio station. And then my senior year at Temple, I was the entertainment director for the station.
Wow.
So yeah.
Look at you, girl. Just like literally sitting in a chair. Hey, you want to sign up? Okay. And that's how you literally got started.
And it was the weirdest thing ever. Like, it was so weird. They just walked up to me. It's like, hey, do you want to join? Because they were like, it's a club at community college. So they were just like, like, we're looking for people to join. So they just see me sitting there. And I was like, oh my God, yeah. Like, of course. And I went to the meetings. They had me on like the next day. And that was just that.
So maybe it was like imperfectly perfect because you were like, I don't want to go to college, and then you enroll, and then this happens. It's like, that was not your set plan, and then look where you are now, which is so incredible.
Crazy, right? Yeah.
I love it. This is a good story because it's like
so crazy. I don't talk about it. So you asking me, I'm like, that is crazy that happened like that, because you don't ever really think about your own situation until you're telling somebody. But who am I ever telling when I'm the one asking all the questions all the time? So
exactly. Yeah. That's why I was like, girl, this is all about you today. So I'm going to ask you all these questions about you and your passion and your path, all that stuff. But so you're now on the radio. So you transitioned from like the radio club transition, and you were like the exec of the radio station basically at Temple, but now you're on the radio right now in Philly, right? You're a part of iHeartRadio family.
So yeah, so I got my job at iHeartRadio my senior year. So that was in November of Temple. And so basically what I do there is I'm a board op producer. So I produce and I do a lot of behind the scenes work for the shows that are on air. My goal is to put me on the air, please. And I want to be on the actual radio there. So that's what I'm working towards. And I've been doing like I just did recently like a little, an interview, and it was on all the stations. So like I'm working my way up there, but I'm just happy to be there in that building because it's like, it's a dream come true. That was iHeart is was my dream publication. It was like somewhere I wanted to work for the longest. And they have like a portal where you can see all the jobs that I applied for over like the last 4 years. And it's like over 30 jobs just trying to get there. Being there has just been such a great journey so far.
And I think that the only direction is up from here, which is so nice because iHeart is such a huge company and they're in virtually every single market, like major city. So in terms of being able to relocate, like you said, you may want to test something out somewhere else. You have that opportunity. You don't feel like you're stuck in Philly and you're like, now I got to start all over and do that. No, you have like the world in your hands, which is so incredible.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm really happy and grateful to be here because it's also a hard place to get into, like a hard, company. So it's like to be in there and like working around things that I want to do has definitely been like great. Montgomery County Community College, when I was there, when I was at Temple, I believe actually both my majors for both of them were media studies production. When I got to Temple, I wanted to do journalism, but when you transfer, there's a whole bunch of credit issues. So I had to just stick with media production. But yeah, that was my major, media studies and production.
Now, do you feel like you're taking a lot of what you learned and applying it now, or do you think it's more of like the hands-on being in the moment that really is giving you the most knowledge?
No, it's so weird because I feel like with that major, in college, they seem to focus it a lot on TV and production work like that. So I'm going to relate back to Temple. I was a part of like Our Sports Update, and that was like, a sports station or whatever. And that was a part of my major. Like that was like something in the group, but we only focused on like, I know how to operate a camera, but at a radio station, I'm not operating a camera at all. Like I don't touch a camera. I know how to do other stuff, but I'm not doing that at the radio station. So it's, and there were classes I could have taken at Temple, like, radio. At my community college, I took like a writing class for media. So like those things are kind of like beneficial, but not really. I feel like I'm not doing really much with what I learned, but I do have the knowledge of doing other stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Interesting. All right, because I went for English communications. It's like, yeah, I know how to read and write, but am I doing anything? Well, now, what, how many years later, 13 years later, I'm actually finally like putting it to good use. Whatever. It's cool.
That's so crazy. I wanted to, when I first graduated high school, I wanted to go to college for English professional writing. I wanted to do English and writing. I wanted to write for magazines, and like that was like something I wanted to do too. But it was all entertainment field. So
that was the same with me. So if we ever start a magazine, like we need to do this together. That will be our passion project.
Yeah, I was obsessed, girl. I was obsessed with 17 magazines. Now I'm obsessed with Cosmos being older. So yeah, that is never gonna go away. The magazine love.
We got to get you an advice column, something in there, you know, or just write, like contributing writer. We got to get you in too. There's no stopping you. There's no stopping you.
You gotta just work. I feel like it's so, you have to, when you have like so many things you want to do, for me personally, when I have so many things that I'm like trying to do, I'll just stop and do nothing. I'm like, you know what, let me put Netflix on. I don't got time for this right now. It's happening. But yeah, it's really nothing to do but to just do it. And you just gotta be not lazy and do it. I feel like I'm lazy sometimes.
Well, I think working all the time, then you're just like, oh, I actually have a free moment. Let me actually just sit here and chill for a bit. Because it's a very rare opportunity that you're like sitting. That's why I'm like so happy that you're taking the time to do this interview, because you just said you were at the station super early this morning and you have to go back in just a few hours. Like you're nonstop. So to squeeze me in, I appreciate you.
Well, thank you for asking me. I'm happy.
Of course, absolutely. So enough about the radio right now. I want to talk a little bit about your Imperfect Talk show. So tell me about it. You told us the background and how it got started, but tell us about the whole format itself, podcast. Is it, visual, audio, all the good stuff about your show?
Yeah. So I don't, it's crazy to have had something for so long. I don't really have a set format. I know the basis of the show is to talk about, it's really personal. So I talk a lot about my own life, my own experiences, things that I go through. I like to talk to people about their opinions on personal things that I go through. And I feel like it stems a lot about relationships. I kind of just started getting out of that. And I talk to athletes now about what's going on with them and doing things like that. But it's just a show to feel relatable to, just to have someone to be like, oh, okay, like you went through that, that's so crazy, like me too, let me give you my opinion on that. As far as it being a podcast, I haven't thought much of it. I started out the inconsistent part with being on YouTube. I made YouTube videos, then I got on Instagram and I'm like, oh my God, I love Instagram so much better. Let me start posting little posts on Instagram. And then I was like, okay, also when I started to do more interviews with celebrities, I'm like, oh, let me post them on SoundCloud. So I feel like my platform is spread all over and it's a whole mess. So when you ask me that, I'm like, I don't really have a specific platform that everything is on. It's just all there. But
it's not a mess. That just means more exposure, because some people are true to YouTube, true to Instagram, true to SoundCloud. So it's like, hey, the more exposure the better. So it's not a mess. You're just putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I just gotta be consistent with doing it in one location and that being the whole thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It was just a idea that I had, that I just wanted to just talk, low-key, it's like my venting session. This is what's going on in my life. Whatever. I don't really care. I don't really care. But this is what's going on. Let's talk about it. Or what's going on with you? Tell me the story. And that's just pretty much, it went from there.
Now, are there any topics that are totally off limits for you to talk on your show?
No.
You're like, yeah, no,
yeah,
none.
No. I'll talk about anything, literally, especially if I have someone else to bounce it off of. I remember DJ Damage I used to talk to him back when I was at Monco. He was like, it's the talent to be able to sit in a room and talk to yourself.
What would you say is your truest passion?
I like personal things. So I appreciate, being in the media and being an inspiring radio host on actual air for the world. You have to talk about hot topics and celebrity gossip and stuff like that. But the crazy part is I'm not really into that. I like to to talk personally. Like, I want to like, this is my story. This is like a little funny story of mine. Like, let's share yours. What do you got going on? Like, I'm a personal kind of person, so I like to talk personal. So I think that something like along those aspects of just sharing personal stories and having more of a personal connection than, you know what I mean, it would be more of like my thing, my passion is just to connect personally.
Nice. I love it. All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot now.
Okay.
Because I love your air checks. Tory Lanez just came out with that new album that's super controversial. So I want you to give us a quick air check. And pretend you're on the radio right now and tell us what you think about it. I really am putting you on the spot. All right? So, because I love your things, like when you had like, you know, Chris Brown, you're like, oh, this is go crazy. I loved that one. I'm like, your energy is so fire.
You do. It's so funny because when I was just shadowing a personality the other day, and she was like, we were face to face, and she was like, okay, so go ahead and give me a talk break in between these songs. I'm looking like, in person, like you want me to do my air check in front of you? And she was like,
yeah, you give a dumb feeling. You're like, I don't want to do this. Yeah.
You're so cringeworthy. I don't even know what I was. I didn't even listen to his new album.
Just even like the overall, I guess, based on the news and what's been happening, and now he's come out with this album and he's talking shit about her, talking shit about Kehlani and JoJo. There's a lot. He just spilled the whole tea bag and the whole teapot all over the media industry or music industry right now.
Okay. If I was talking about Tory Lanez, do I have to come out of a song that either has him in it or Megan in it? And I'm trying to think about what songs have him in it. I think he has a song with Kehlani that's on the radio.
Yeah, which I love that song, and now she has not put it on the deluxe album, and I'm just like I hate to say, but I love him. I'm just so mad that he did stupid shit.
Yeah, Tory. I don't know. Like I've never really been like a fan, but like if he has something hot, of course I'm gonna listen and I like it. So I don't mind him. I thought his quarantine radios were very entertaining in the beginning of quarantine. Like I watched those. Like, I think he's a character, but like I don't really. If we don't ever have a Tory Lanez again, I won't care. But.
You're like, that's my air check. I don't care. The end.
What would I say? I'm trying to see if I want to give you like a front sell, back sell of it. That's so crazy. Okay, let's pretend we're coming out of a Megan Thee Stallion song and going into the Can I song. Jeez, girl.
We literally went from WAP to Can I. All right, so let's do that.
WAP to Can I? Okay. What would I say? Dang. Even if I was getting ready to talk about it, I would still be like considering what I was gonna say. And that was like one of the things I have to work on with like being a personality in general.
I am doing this right now. This is practice.
Girl.
You're like, don't make me practice on your interview. How dare you?
No, I'm trying to commit. Okay, let me say. What would I say? I was like, okay, don't think too much about it. This might be a little rough, Katie.
All right.
Okay, I think I would say something like WAP by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. It's your girl Daija ME right now on the airwaves. And going into the next song is Kehlani featuring Tory Lanez. Now Tory Lanez just dropped this project and he is going in, spilling all the tea on what's going on with Megan Thee Stallion, Kehlani, JoJo. He just dropped it all. But right now, here is him and his person he's beefing with, Kehlani, with Can I.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That was not good.
No, but I will say it's good because you literally have no frame of reference for his album because you haven't listened to him. You're not like a dedicated fan or really feel super strongly about like Team Tory or Team Megan. You're delivering the news and it's a good transition between their two songs. I liked it. I know you're probably critical about your work, but I like it.
You know, because I just realized when I was training with another personality that I'm a talker. And she was like, "Stop! Don't be so chatty in between songs." And I feel like I just rammed to you just now.
I loved it. So
it's you. This is your show. If you like it, then I love it. Like,
well, I mean, and granted, I didn't even tell you I was going to do that. There was no preparation. I literally just put you on the spot. So you know, that's part of the work. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call on my work phone. How dare they? Rude. Oh, it stopped. I'm like, don't you know I'm busy? God.
That you're off.
Exactly. I have the day off. Leave me alone. Do not disturb. Sorry, it was just bugging. I didn't know if you guys heard it vibrate. That's why I was like, sorry. No, I loved it. So thank you so much for the impromptu air check. So, but I always get excited.
Do that because I need to learn how to do it on the spot. So there we go. So win-win for both of us.
Right. So if it's in person or over a Zoom, I'm like, you're gonna have to keep practicing, and these personalities gonna put you on the spot. So you have to just like keep up with it, and you're like, boom, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go. You're so funny. I love it. So Daija, where can we find you? Because you are on Instagram, you are on SoundCloud, you're on YouTube. I want everybody to know where to find you so they can listen to all different parts, whether it be your interviews, your air checks, your Instagram lives. Like, we need to know it all. So where can we find you?
I would say personally, Instagram is my #1 social media platform. I feel like once you go there, you can see a lot of my work. You can see a lot of little clips of what I do. And then also, if you click the link in my bio, I have a link tree. You can go to YouTube, you can go to SoundCloud. So it's all just there. Instagram is Daija ME, so it's DAIJA, period, the little dot ME, and that's where I am.
Good. I mean, I already follow you, so I'm like, but now, like, make sure subscribe. What do you do on SoundCloud? Can you follow, subscribe? Like, what's the deal? I only just click on SoundCloud, so I don't know.
I think you can follow on SoundCloud.
Just follow her. Follow her. Listen to all her stuff.
All right, guys. So I guess you can. I need to put these goddamn hands away because it's like so annoying, but you can sit with me today, and you can sit with me every week here, either whether it's in my egg chair or on my porch or at my mom's house, wherever I'm going to be, but you can sit with me every single week to enjoy episodes of the Antisocial Socialite. So with that being said, love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.